Back once again with Taylor Bradford of the Gloucester Daily Times. Things are picking up again now. We're in the dog days of summer, but there's lots going on. Right off the top, what is happening with the combined school on Webster Street?
So, as people know, the building of the new combined elementary school over at Webster Street has been a kind of a sore subject for some people and an exciting subject for others. But nonetheless, there is a lawsuit going on against residents and both the MSBA, the State Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs, and the city about the construction of this. Now, this hearing, or as the city kind of filed for a summary of judgment, the judge had planned to have a hearing today at 12:30, or Thursday today, 12:30, to discuss this and go over the different arguments from both sides over Zoom. However, unfortunately, that actually got moved to next week, and so people are going to have to hold on to their horses just for another week as they wait to hear what the judge has to say and the discussion that comes from that. But people should know that meeting is actually going to be in person in Newburyport. So if you're interested in this and you've got the time to go drive over to Newburyport next week, you can go over to 145 High Street in Newburyport on July 22nd at 2:30 p.m. Everyone has to be masked, but it's an opportunity for people to hear what the judge out of the Essex County Superior Court has to say and has to listen to the arguments that stem from this lawsuit that was filed by residents. So that'll be an interesting conversation. If you can't go to the actual meeting, they do have a telephone public access line that you can access, and that number you can dial into is 1-866-775-1288. And again, I'll say that one more time. It's 1-866-775-1288 with a participant code of 785-6235#. And so people who are interested in following this lawsuit, as it's been kind of a big conversation around here in the city, can either go to the actual meeting place on that day, or they can phone in to listen to what the two sides have to say.
Gotcha. And just go to gloucestertimes.com, and Taylor's article there has that link for you too, with the corresponding numbers. Okay, great stuff there. Taylor, are goats going to overtake Salt Island?
That's a great question. And according to the Conservation Commission, they're pretty upset about the goats being there. They noted to Salt Island LLC, who kind of came before them to discuss about bringing goats onto the island to eradicate poison ivy, that they were upset about the process and they're unsure of the environmental impacts of these goats. Although, there are many companies that do this. They have goats. I see signs all over Hamilton when I'm saying goats to go, and they do chew up, the unwanted vegetation, but there's a lot of concerns about, would they chew up too much vegetation? Where will the feces go? If they're keeping goats in but not people out, how will that interaction occur? And so as all this is going, and Salt Island LLC has noted that really their only plan is to have goats. They're not planning to build anything at this current moment. And the conversation continues to go. There was an organization or a group formed called Save Salt Island, and it's a group of residents and non-residents who are concerned about the environmental impacts of any development, and their ultimate goal is to have a conservation restriction put on the island, which is an agreement between the owners of the island and any type of environmental group that can kind of permanently preserve this island for people just to enjoy it as a natural landscape, rather than always fearing that anybody who buys it might build something bigger than fence posts over at the island. So that group has formed, and as that group has formed and the Conservation Commission continues to have this conversation, there will be a discussion, public hearing, and notes from Salt Island LLC next week to discuss more, and that will be on July 21st. The date and time and the Zoom link can be found on the city's website and on our website later next week to hear more about what that will entail and kind of what it might look like going forward. And that'll be interesting. I tuned into an open space and recreation meeting the other day. And they were just kind of chattering about, what is it our responsibility as an open space and recreation committee? This is a private island, but again, a lot of people go and attend there. And so this is a conversation that's reaching between committees. It's going, over the bridge to other communities. I know people in Salem and Danvers have also just been talking, and as they hear goats might go on the island, they get really excited, and then they start to ask those questions about, what does that actually mean, and how does that impact both the people and the environment over on that island? So stay tuned for that. It should be a really interesting meeting.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question as a non-Gloucester resident? There is no road to Salt Island, right?
No, low tide, you can walk out there.
Right. So it's a tidal situation. So it seems as if it would be impossible to build something out there. I mean, I realize people build things on islands, but the Conservation Commission, there have to be so many issues with getting supplies out there and building too close to the waterfront. Anyway, I just wonder about that.
That's a good point, because I mean, there are limitations as of right now, because one of the questions that was raised at a previous Conservation Commission meeting was that how do you get construction equipment over the beach onto the island? As of right now, with the piping plovers, you're not allowed to. And
Right.
so they were talking about taking a boat over, but then they'd have to go over private property to get their boat in. And so there's a lot of those conversations. And while there are a lot of questions and some answers at the last meeting, the family that owns the island is hopefully going to be coming back with a lot more answers and explanations to kind of what their intent is. But yeah, no road. If you have a rowboat, maybe, but.
Yeah. It seems like there are a lot of obstacles to that. So we'll stay tuned.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor, you mentioned the bridge before. What is happening with Mass DOT and the A. Piatt Andrew Highway Bridge?
Yeah, so starting Sunday evening, drivers coming over the bridge might want to seek an alternate route for the next couple of weeks, month-long endeavor. That the Department of Public Works announced that the Massachusetts Department of Transportation will be working on the Marsh Street Bridge, which is between Grant Circle and the Andrews Piatt, or the A. Piatt Andrew Bridge, both north and southbound, for about a month starting this Sunday night. So their plans are to shut down a lane and demo the bridge into dump trucks on Marsh Street. And that work will be during the morning as well as some night work. And DPW did note that the traffic will be limited to one lane under the bridge from 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. daily. So that's a long time for an interesting time to decide to do construction, especially as we are getting into late July, August, and people are coming over. So if you know the beautiful route of 127, I definitely recommend taking that if you want to get anywhere in Cape Ann. But even that, we're going to fear that might pile up as well. So just take into consideration, you might want to add an hour expectation to your drive if you're planning to come here to Gloucester or anywhere southbound.
There's already something happening on that bridge, because I sat in some traffic and it had to do with construction, right?
Yeah, on the highway bridge itself. Yes, but
Yeah.
Mass DOT's
Right.
out there doing something. So,
Okay.
all right, well, that'll be a lot of fun to deal with. Okay, a couple of quick hits here, Taylor. First of all, any word on an interim health director for the city of Gloucester?
Yeah, so as we've talked about at previous discussions here on 1623, Karen Carroll and Kelly Highland both resigned from their positions within the health department earlier this week. They'll be leaving at the end of July. And as they leave their positions, the health department during a pandemic, as we're still in one, is having to find an interim and replacements for both of those positions. And so I was able to correspond with the health board chair, Rich Sagal, the other day to discuss a little bit more about what this might look like as they go forward, as they're still navigating a lot more in the city. Although COVID numbers are down, that does not mean that we are completely safe, and that we need to continue to take proactive approach to how we respond to COVID-19 pandemic and other things that are here in the city as well. So he noted that Max Schneck will be the interim director of the health department. He has fulfilled this role in the past, as they also looked for a health department director in the past, and he's currently the assistant director. And as Sagal said, he has a solid understanding of the activities of the health department. The duties of the city health nurse that Kelly Highland held will be divided between Cindy Junker and Bridget Nelligan. Both have served and worked as school nurses in Gloucester, assisted with numerous vaccination clinics, and served as contact tracers during the COVID-19 pandemic. The city has posted the health department director's position online, and the current plan is to hold off on posting the public health nurse position until a director has been hired. I did ask kind of what does it look like going forward for the Board of Health as they continue to navigate the pandemic, and also the reasons for these two well equipped and very professional employees. What does it look like to have that conversation about why they left? And he mentioned that the Board of Health looks forward to working with the mayor and her administration to continue to safeguard the health and well-being of the residents of Gloucester as they kind of go forward. Now, we both know that both of them left, and at that time that they left, there had been some tension between them and the mayor's office. However, we want us also understand that that might not be their only reason for leaving. But again, that conversation continues to to kind of develop as we go to more meetings and we get further into the summer.
Gotcha. Nice work there. Okay, and lastly, there is a murder mystery out in Lanes Cove.
There is. So if any of you guys are fans of Mad Men or fans of John Slattery or John Hamm, you'll be happy to note that they and their filming group might be coming over the bridge to do a little movie here. So it was announced earlier this month that they will be filming parts of their movie adaptation of a classic murder mystery novel here in Gloucester later this month. The Miramax movie Confess Fletch is based off of Gregory McDonald's classic 1970 murder mystery series, and it'll be shot this side of the bridge on Tuesday, July 27th from approximately 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. According to a July 7th email correspondence that I had with the mayor's office, the community development director department, and the city council that they all corresponded with, that was found in a city council packet earlier this month. The film, which also features stars Oscars winner Marcia Gay Harden, Kyle MacLachlan, follows the adventures of an investigation reporter, not like any of us here in Gloucester, but Erwin Morris Fletcher, after he becomes the prime suspect in multiple murders. So throughout the film, according to IMDb, which is a great source for those who are movie lovers, Fletch strives to prove his innocence, which simultaneously is searching for his fiance's stolen art collection. And that's not all about this film. It's also been done before by Chevy Chase twice.
Classics.
Classic in 1985. And so the first film became a cult classic. So it's really exciting for those who are either Chevy Chase fans, murder mystery novel fans. So we'll be waiting to see, the sights and sounds of that being filmed. Just to note that while filming in Gloucester is happening later this month, the set will be located at the fishing boat docks in Lanes Cove. A catering tent and holding area will be set up at Lanesville Community Center on Vulcan Street and at Plum Cove Elementary School on Hickory Street, and a base camp will be arranged at O'Malley Innovation Middle School on Cherry Street. So if you see things around the city at that time, down that area, just note that that is what it is. And who knows, you might even see some stars of Mad Men over there. So.
Yeah, very cool stuff. All right, Taylor, that was awesome. All right, we will catch up with you next week. Have a great weekend, and thanks for all your help.
Have a great weekend, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.